Hello! Well, we're still in 2017. How are you? How has your holiday week been going? If you join me here live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, replay so that I know you are here stopping in. And I just wanted to sit here with you with my coffee and just recap 2017. So for you, in my Made for More group, I've left a few questions because as much as I would love to I'd love to dive in and spend half a day reflecting. I actually find it pretty draining and putting myself in that spot. And my brain starts thinking of a million things at once. And so this year, I've just been doing my reflecting, just one question at a day. And so if you are a reflector and you are serious about just the intentions you want to set for 2018, whether you call them goals or intentions or focuses or word themes, whatever your jam is, let me know what your style is in the comments. But whatever, if you want to do some reflecting and you just need some jump start, hop in the Made for More group. I'll put the link in the comments afterwards. And just start reflecting, because when I have reflected on what the treasures that I've gained from 2017, it hasn't been that I've conquered massive goals or that I even succeeded in all of the goals that I set out to, because I actually have a whole new perspective on setting goals. For me, what's important is setting the direction. A goal sets a direction for me, and what I incorporate now in the goal is who do I need to become to achieve that, and that has become way more important than actually what I succeed. Life changes, I get curveballs, things happen that I didn't expect, and it just shapes what my intentions were, and that is okay. I'm learning. It's not failure, it's just adapting. And so I thought I would share with you the 3 treasures that I've learned in my, mostly in working in my business in 2017. And the first one is consistency. So consistency was, I kind of have a bit of a problem with it. I can be tenacious and beat something to the ground, but I also get impatient because I underestimate how much time things will take me. And so then I want to change directions because I think I should have been somewhere by now. But I've learned the value of just, whether it's perfect, whether it's working or not, just keep doing the same action. And for me this year, that was being visible. For me, that was just showing up, whether it felt like somebody was listening or not, because I wasn't fearful anymore. I know that I have a message that you guys need to hear, that you are searching for when you stop off the treadmill of life, and maybe that was this week for you. You stop doing the rat race and you give yourself time to think, and all of a sudden you wonder maybe what kind of meeting you have, or maybe you've been short selling your life and what you've been doing and committing to feels like the daily grind, or doesn't really feel like your potential. You're just doing it because once you decided to do it, and maybe you're ready for something new. Maybe you're ready to change jobs, go back to school, start a business, start a side hustle. Maybe you're ready to start a family, or maybe your family's moving on, and that is, maybe you've retired, maybe there's a whole transition in your life that's opening up new doors, and you haven't really figured out how to explore what your potential is. And that is where my passion is. That is where I love to breathe life into the potential of what you're passionate about, what your experiences are, what your message is that you have to offer hope to someone who maybe is a few steps behind, and they're stuck and they don't see what's ahead. They don't see how to get out of that. And you've been through things. You have skills, you've learned things through your own trial and error, through the years you've put into it. And you know what? I bet that you don't even realize how valuable what you have to offer is. And so I got passionate about my message and stopped just kind of playing around and decided to start sharing that, because I think, here's what I think. I think that if you stepped out and did that and didn't just play life safe, that you are going to make your change in the world. That someone who is depressed and sitting at home without purpose is going to live this year instead of commit suicide because they found hope. That's extreme, but I really believe that that's what purpose and that's what calling is about. You living your purpose and someone else looking for you living your purpose and what your message is. And it could be just small. It could be that someone else is in tears at home, discouraged because they just feel unworthy and unloved and overweight and just icky, and just they feel confined in the traps of their life and they don't know how to get out. And when you're trapped like that, all you can see are the walls around you. And so it might take someone you walking alongside them and inviting them out or giving them rides, or maybe it's just an outside look into a life to see, hey, these are what your options are. I believe this for you. And just like I say to my clients, if you need to borrow my belief in you for a little while to jumpstart, then go for it. That's what you have to offer somebody. And so for me, that was my little bunny trail. But when I got fired up about my message this year and realized how much it can impact people, then I just started sharing it out there in posting it in Facebook groups and getting some things on my blog again, and planning my book and sharing it with people and getting on calls with people all over the world. And consistency, I didn't see the results right away, but showing up grew me better, grew my skills better. So much changed because I just decided to show up no matter what. And what happened on the other side of it, so a year later, because I started about last February to really get serious about it, what happened is that it took the emotional roller coaster out of it. So when I was scared to put out my side of it and I was overanalyzing it or trying to figure out what was what, the consistency of choosing just, this is what my strategy is, this is the little piece that I'm going to tackle this year and get good at. This is the pieces of message I'm going to share. It's one small part in the big thing of helping you discover your purpose, living your calling, reaching, knowing who your niche is and who you're meant to serve. Those are all part of it that I didn't even really get to this year, because I just wanted to believe, first of all, that you have potential, that you were made for more, that you can do something more than just the daily grind that you were living in, that there's something for you. Diana, hi, welcome. And so that is what the message is that I've been sharing, and consistency is the first treasure that I have been sharing with the people that have been tuning in to me, that you are made for more, that you have something to offer, and consistency pays off, because I have a lot more peace in it, and it's a lot more ease, so I can focus on other things. So, hey Diana, I'm just sharing some treasures that I've learned from 2017. I'd love to hear what is something big that happened to you in 2017, and what did you learn from that? I'd love to hear that in the notes. So number 2 was relationships, and so in building my business, in being consistent and being brave. And by the way, my 3 things aren't really in order. They might actually be backwards, but oh well. But the second thing that I learned was relationships, how powerful they are. And I changed a lot of my relationships this year because of the new spaces that I was exploring. So I decided to move my focus of my business a lot more online instead of locally. I liked the accessibility. I liked the versatility. And what I found were the treasures of some beautiful people who are working towards their dreams and goals. And when I hit my lowest and was in tears, when I just could see my lack and in my inadequacies, then they were there for me. And when I was at my high and I just needed somebody who got the journey, who got how much work it was to get there, who could celebrate the little successes with me when I was over the moon, those are the people that I went to, and they cheered me on. And that has been amazing this year. I still have some biz besties who I can just message or send a Voxer message to and just say, hey, here's what I'm struggling through. I just need to talk it out. And do work bee sessions online together and brainstorming sessions. And it's been beautiful. In fact, this lovely shawl is from one of the girls that I met in the online space as well. And we did a not so secret sister gift exchange this year. And this was my exciting present. So who is in your life? And do you have the people who get what is really on your heart? The people that you feel safe that you can share with. People that will celebrate you and cheer you on, that'll push you, that won't let you be satisfied with where you are, but keep spurring you on, that won't let you quit when you want to, but also just give you the space to explore your thoughts. So important. So if you're missing those, honestly, with the internet nowadays, with a World Wide Web out there, the place you can start is the Purposely Made for More group that's on my Facebook page, and I'll post the link here. But there's all kinds of places where you can look and search for people, or even locally in your church. You can make it a prayer to find out who do you need in your court that is going to give you what you need to pursue your dreams and make the impact that you want to make in your life this year. So important. And the other people in my life are my clients this year. And I received some beautiful letters. So here's in my home, we've kind of been battling sickness, and I was out with a cold for a while, and I kept moving over this message that never got on live to share it with you. But I received some beautiful letters from some clients that I've had that it has been a while since I worked with them, actually, and I helped them believe in their dream, and I helped clear the muddle and let them know, help them carve like what their steps were, what their goals for, and I got one email that just shared how she landed her first big writing gig that had been on her message, that she gets to share someone's stories, and I'm so proud of her because I know how much that meant to her and how big that dream was. And she had been exploring a few ways to tackle that and hadn't quite landed on one, and she just quietly worked away at her spot and made her connections, and there she got it. And so just because it's been a while, just because maybe something hasn't been turning out for your dream, doesn't mean that it's not out there for you, that it can't happen yet. And I have received another letter from a client, and it was a 3-page handwritten letter of just sharing how much she was grateful that at the beginning of the year, people thought she was nuts for hiring a life coach, a purpose coach. People don't know what that is. If you're not in that world that is constantly investing in coaches and developing yourself personally and challenge yourself to grow, you are missing out. And it doesn't have to be a coach. You can find a mentor. You can find someone, all kinds of ways to do that. But this girl just decided this is what she needed. And she invested in herself because she knew her dream was worth it, and she wanted to go farther than she could go on her own. And she just listed all of the ways that she had changed, how she'd become more confident, how she had set stronger boundaries, how she could be a better decision making, how she knew the things that she wanted, and she knew the path that had prepared her for the dream. It was beautiful. And I want that for you too, that you can feel like you can invest in yourself, in your dream, because you're worth it. And the impact that you can make in another life is worth it too. Someone is waiting for what you have to offer, for that encouragement, for that passion, for that skill. I believe there's a place for you. You aren't just meant to exist. You aren't just meant to survive. You're meant to flourish and thrive. And that's going to mean some hard times, because we don't usually grow without tension and without some kind of pain or suffering or wondering. But we do thrive, and I believe that's for you too. So my treasures so far, number 1 was consistency pays off. 2 is relationships are so foundational for your journey and your success in the impact that you want to make in the earth. And number 3 is you just got to get started when you don't know what you're doing. So I gave up, so it wasn't in 2017, I gave up perfectionism. It's been a journey, but I really did that seriously in 2016, and that made all the difference for me in any progress that I've made for a while. That I just needed to get started. And you could have it all planned out, and I know tons of people, tons of entrepreneurs who have their business all planned out, and they created their offer and they created their message. They wanted to start a ministry, and they worked hard behind the scenes, didn't really talk about it with anybody, designed the whole thing, launched it, and it went. And 6 months later, they got enough clarity with the people that they were interacting with, or what quite didn't feel like them, that they just rebranded everything. They took everything off. They changed everything. They changed the whole direction. They changed their offer. And I thought that was, when I would see that, or when I started shifting that for myself, even in my message and who I felt called to reach, in what I wanted to offer, that was, I thought it was like a shameful, something I should be ashamed or embarrassed about, that maybe I didn't have it perfect. And then there was that word perfect again, and I realized, oh, well, if I'm disappointed that it's not perfect, well, that's not what I'm going for. The whole thing is that you grow and it gets shaped. And so there's this tagline in the entrepreneurial world that is, with action comes clarity. And I thought that people were nuts at first, but it's really true, because you can only go so far. So I always picture of it, if you're driving in the fog. And so I grew up in BC, and there's a lot of foggy mornings there, and you'd be driving in, and I had to learn how to use my fog lights, or how to use my lights in those darkness. And you could only go so far before, to see what was in front of you, but you had to keep going in order to see what was next. And that's a lot of what I see sometimes when you're stepping out and you don't quite have all the answers, or you have the big dream. So if you're a big dreamer, you can see that mountaintop ahead of you. You can see it clear. You see your big dream and what that looks like. But all the details are what seem muddy along the way. And it seems daunting, and you seem powerless. Like, where do I even get started with all of the little details? Which one do I tackle first? I want it all, and I want it at the end. How do I make it all happen, when usually it's best just to make one thing happen at a time and get impact in that area? And so what I learned is, you just get started. Yep, you're going to need a plan. You're going to need a strategy. You aren't going to get far without it. But and you'll hear a little bit of this story if you sign up for the From Spark to Sparkle interview series that's on my Facebook page. I share a little bit of my behind the scenes story of that. Christina, it's so good to see you. I'm just sharing my 3 treasures from 2017. What's yours? You had some awesome things happen to you in 2017, so I want to hear one of them. So anyway, my number 3 one is that you just got to get started. If you have a dream, if you're not quite sure what it is, if you want to make a big change in your life, if you have a goal, if you just want to try something, you just want to make it, but you're not happy with where your life is, then you just got to get started and surround yourself with the relationships like in step 2, and be consistent like step 1, and you're going to start getting enough clarity to get an idea of the strategy and the plan and what it's going to take to make that happen. And that is what has been happening for me this year as well. Just lots of clarity all the time. And so that's what I have. And so if you want to know how to get started, if you're just feeling daunted, whether you're a goal person, a resolution person, or you're like anti-goal and you just want a word thing, but if you just want a change, if you want a fresh start for the year, you just want to know this is what I'd like to see in my life by 2018, and you want to make a new meaning, you want to make a shift, or you're just in a transition, I have a 10-day challenge that just helps break down those steps, clears out your mental clutter, kind of the debris that flies around from mishap and transition, from things happening in your life, and like just like stuff, right? Christmas, do you ever find yourself like purging half your kids' toys because you're like, nothing belongs anywhere anymore and there's no spot for it, and you're stepping over things? Or is that just my life? But I find the same thing happens in my mind and in my focus when I just start committing to too many things, and I realize I can't actually accomplish what I want to. And so it takes some decluttering of your mind to focus on really what matters, so that you can own your life and the direction that you're called. So you tune into what God is wanting for your life instead of what everybody else is dictating, whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your friends or your church or your work or your business. Maybe you've got a business or a ministry that's just kind of taken off on its own, or things haven't quite turned out the way you expected, and you're wondering, okay, well now what? Like, what do I do? It's time to own that again. It's time to declutter, to figure out what really matters, what's been holding you back. Figure out what breakthroughs you need. Figure out the support you need. Figure out what the strategy is, so that you know what you're looking for. So you know the people to ask, the questions to ask to actually make it happen. Because like 80, I think it's, I don't know, there's different stats out there, but definitely not more than 80% or less than 80% are completing all of their goals each year when they set it at New Year's, right? It's a thing. And so I want to build you up for success, and I want to help you see that. And I don't want you to live in the doubt or the fear, what's been holding you back, or the limitations. I think that you can live a life that is abundant and fulfilling, and that is for you, not just somebody else. Even if you feel ordinary, even if you just feel like you're overloaded with everything else, but something's missing, I want to help you find out what that missing thing is. And so if you want to join in, I'm still figuring out technical glitches. So, but if you are interested in just getting clear, getting focused, and making some headway this year for your dreams, for the impact that you want to make, for that big change that you want in your life, that you've been waiting for to happen on its own, and you just realizing you need to own it, I want to help you happen with that. And you can do that with us in the Purposely Made for More Facebook group. 10 days coming up, starting next week. I think I've put, I think we're going to start January 2nd. And we're just going to do 10 days and unpack 10 steps of areas where you can find a little bit of clarity to move ahead. And so you can sign up for that and get more information. If I know you're interested, then I'll make sure you get the details as I get them all figured out in the technical side. So that's emilygrabatin.ca /braveaction, and you can sign up there. You'll get a quiz and a self-assessment that you can do just to see where you're at now, so that the end, in a year from now, you can celebrate your own growth, your own treasures that you gained from the progress. So that's all I've got. your 3 treasures that I'd love to pass on. And if you have treasures yourself, what did you learn from 2017? I'd love to hear that in the comments. But treasures, consistency pays off. They're seeds that you're planting that you might not see the fruit later, but you're planting them and they matter. Number 2 is relationships are so key. The good ones, the relationships that get who you are and where you're going, and they don't leave you behind, and they don't let you quit, and they meet you at your lowest, blubbering, like ugly cry moments, and when you're totally exhilarated about the little small win that you got that everybody's like, what? And they don't realize it took you 20 hours to, get out the Facebook page or something. Just saying. So, and number 3 is just get started somewhere. The clarity is going to come. Your courage is going to come with that. And the more you practice, the more confident you're going to be in your direction, how to get there, who to ask, who else is doing it, all of that. So, if you want to join us and have some of your own treasures, get started in your dream, emilygrabatin.ca /braveaction. And you can get the self-assessment there, and I will be sending you soon the details for the 10-day challenge. All right, gonna be low-key. I did it in September, and that was really intense. We're gonna do a little bit lower key this week, and we'll be doing it in the Purposely Made for More group. So I'll see you around. Christina, it was so cool to see you on here. I would love to hear from you more. Send me a message, eh? Let me know what you're up to. I loved your family picture too. So, signing off. Have a great rest of the year and celebrating your new year. Yay! Take care.